Mass incarceration really affects one and all of us, and particularly black people. I'm talking, I know it affects the community at large, but right now my focus is on black people because it affects us at a larger rate than it affects anybody else. Mass incarceration, I can even speak to like somewhat of a personal level. Some years ago, one of my younger brothers was locked up, not for an extended period of time, but what it did to him, once he got that criminal record, he was labeled at that time. What that does, not just for him, but for many black people. Once you're in the system and you're labeled like that, you might have a misdemeanor or it could be a felony or whatever it may be, your life is in turmoil. It's hard for you to get back into regular society. So now, when we have let's just say the misrepresentation and the over-representation of black people in jails, it's profitable for the people that are building these jails, but it's detrimental and destructive to young black men. Now, once you have a record, you can't become a police officer. You can't be a firefighter. You can't work in City Hall. All these civil service jobs, and one of the first things they ask you, have you ever been incarcerated? That's on a lot of these things, and that automatically excludes you.
That's incarceration. It has affected me because I've been in the system for about 17 years. I'm 30 now, so since I was 13. And it's affected me in so many ways because during the time, I'm still suffering right now from just being bitter, not trusting people, trying to get my self-esteem back, because prison deteriorates the way you think, deteriorates the way you act, not being able to reach out to people that you need to speak to. If something happens to your mother, you can't just leave and go take care of her and come back, and not being able to see your kids. It's so much more than what people think. People think you just commit a crime and you get locked up. It's way more in there than what's being televised or what's being put out there. It's sad because brothers it's like modern day slavery. And what happens is we're failing out here because fathers is being incarcerated. They're not teaching us. They're not giving us the proper tools to come back out here and be better men, you know what I mean? So the recidivism rate is real high because it's designed for us to keep going back in there. It's designed to break up families. It's designed so my son can be incarcerated next.
Mass incarceration breaks the family structure and the black communities. It takes our husbands, our fathers, our sons. It leaves our children vulnerable, the women vulnerable in the community. I believe it's a deliberate act to break down the family structure.
The criminal justice system has affected my life and my family. Having a cousin who has been in and out of jail for the last 20 years, incarcerated, has lost the rights to his child. I'm currently in the throes of trying to rebuild our family and took his child in to adopt as my own. The criminal justice system has destroyed our family on multiple levels, and there needs to be some proactive systems put in place to stop destroying our communities. Thank you.
My family, my community was affected when my brother was arrested in 2000 for a crime that he did not commit. It took us time, money, and separation to bring us all back together. But we're all here today. But we as a community need to 100% back each other. Because if we don't, we'll all be lost. And it was the help of my community that helped us to be able to bring him home safely, unharmed, and without any charges filed against him. But we all do need to come together as a community because our brothers and sisters are out here being wrongly committed to prisons for crimes that they have never committed. Thank you.
Prison affects all of us. I personally, my husband is incarcerated. He's been incarcerated since he was 18 years old, and we are fighting that injustice. And I would say, as far as this community, I used to live here, and I'm glad that people are starting to step up and make a difference in the community. And if we continue to do that, united together, I believe a great change and a great impact will happen for our youth, and we can save more lives. Black Lives Matter.